Good evening. I am Scorpio Chronicles, and you're watching Kickstarter Connections. Good evening. I am Scorpio Chronicles, and you are watching Kickstarter Connections. Today is May 25th, and this is another show of Kickstarter Connections where we introduce you to new and up and coming independent artists or independent artists that already have Kickstarters that are out. And speaking of independent artists, when you get the opportunity, can you please go to indiecomicdispatch.com and take a look at our different reviews on indie comic books, the creators, the artists, and the whole team that is behind it. And also, while you're there, if you want to continue to support the Kickstarter Connections and ICD, please go ahead and support our Patreon that we have so we can continue to bring you all the good stuff that you need in the comic community. Now, without further ado, I had to go dig this gentleman out of the woods. He's been hiding. All I've been seeing was DMs from this guy. Never know what he looked like until tonight. So this is your first time seeing him. This is gonna be my first time seeing him face to face. But he writes, from what I've heard, some awesome books. The oh, I want to say creator, which he is the creator of Infinity Ages and also Ovation Comics. I have Mr. John Schlemm. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good, good. It's good to finally, like I say, it's good to actually finally put a DM with a face and a voice now. So
Face and a smile, yeah.
I know exactly who John is. So how are things going, sir?
Pretty good. And you can tell I've been in the woods for a while if you look at that beard.
I had to go dig and find you. I had to go find you because I was like, okay.
Honestly, I have not done one of these in quite a while. So this is kind of like exclusive with
Oh,
the man, the
wow.
mystery, the monster right here.
I actually bragged to the others, Catalyst Comics and all of them. I was like, I told them, I said, guess who I have on the show? And they were like, oh, I said, Slim's coming on the show. He was like, no, really? I said, yep, he's coming. I said, I got him to come on Kickstarter Connections. I got him before y'all did. So so I'm the first one to get you back on the show. So I'm actually very excited about that. So we are here. We're going to be talking about Infinity Agents, I believe number two, which is my first time. I did back this project, so I believe I'm going to get book one and two. Can't wait to read those. But what before we get into the Kickstarter, we're just going to get to know you just a little bit better. So,
Sure.
tell us about yourself and how you became a comic book creator.
Well, I have been a storyteller really all my life. I was one of those weird kids that, I mean, I loved outdoors and exploring and doing all that stuff and hanging with friends and
Mhm.
cruising the neighborhoods and on your bikes back when that was safe. Um, but I also would spend like countless hours just writing. First, all by hand, notebooks, stacks of notebooks, writing short stories. Then I'm a typewriter. My mother had got me,
Mm,
and then it got to the point sometimes my mom was like, "Go back outside. You do too much." But I mean, that's always been a part of my life. And I've written all types of different things: journalism, short stories, interviews. And so, of course, when you're that much of a writer and reader, then you're also a comic book nut. So I was making comic books when I was a kid, but I think a lot of us creators were, with like lined paper, drawing
mm,
these whole
yeah.
pictures and staple them together. And then I used to sneak to my mother's work and mimeograph them, back when the mimeograph machines, and then distribute them to my friends and stuff.
Mhm.
And it just kept going. The cool thing now is that before where um, you'd have to pay everything up front, pay for the
Yeah.
printing and stuff, and it was really burdensome. And you would hardly ever get. Maybe your local comic shop would carry you, but nothing else. But with the
Yeah.
advent of crowdfunding, that's just changed everything so dramatically for indie creators. So
Oh, yeah.
we can play with the big boys now.
Hey, that is awesome. That is what it's all about. We're leveling up and moving on and seeing what else is out there. So that's important. Now, tell us about a little bit about your project and the creative team that's behind the project.
Okay. Infinity Agents is, I write like just about every genre out there. And my first comic book that really was, I guess, probably I'm most known for, if I'm known for anything, which isn't much, but is Goth Ghost Girl. So I had other creators and people who know a heck of a lot more about the industry than I do kind of advising me now, stick with, it seems like supernatural is kind of your genre, that's your thing, stick with that.
Mm,
But man, I got stories in all different genres I want to tell, so I refuse to do that. So
yeah.
that's kind of why I launched a bunch on purpose, so that hopefully people would like the writer and the creator behind it more so than just looking for one genre. So
That's
this
true.
was my first foray into a science fiction one, and it's really probably the most influential creator on me as a creator was Jack Kirby.
Mm,
Um, it just because his building and his creative vision was just so imaginative. It was just like unlike other things I ever saw. So that's kind of what this is. I'm not saying I'm trying to mimic his. No one could ever do
mhm.
that.
Yeah.
But just like you take some traditional heroes, like say Challenges of the Unknown. That's kind of like these Infinity Agents. But then there's a bizarre twist, and this just keeps going as the series. You'll see. This is actually the third issue, so you're going to get three, my friend.
Mm,
But you'll see in the first issue, you think you understand what it is. You think it's, oh, this is kind of like a Challenge of the Unknown, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But then the second thing, say, there's some weird stuff here. Now, the third one, I can't even really say anything without it being a spoiler. This really dramatic change of events happens in this issue. And it just keeps snowballing from here that it's not what you thought. And so it's got some really cool stuff.
oh wow. I cannot wait until we do until I get that and ready to read it. So all right. So explain the history of your comic, like about like how long have you been working on it, and where did the idea come from? Now I know you said that which I love, and that's something that I want to embark on, that you actually go through different genres. So I
Mm-hmm.
like that you're not putting yourself in a box. I
Right.
like that. So I I really enjoy that. So tell us just a little bit about you know how long you've been working on this comic, just a little bit of history about the comic, how it became about, or things of
Sure.
that matter.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with sticking with one genre. I didn't
Hmm.
mean that to sound like critical of anyone because some people are just really, really good. I'm hoping
Hmm.
that if I write every genre, maybe I'll be good in one of them. you
Yeah,
know, um,
that's
but
true.
I love reading all genres, so I kind of like doing stories in all of them. And this is really isn't like hard sci-fi.
Hmm.
This is more of a space opera. Like a Star Wars series. That's even
Yeah.
kind of an influence on it. Um, so I don't remember exactly. I like say if you take Doom Patrol or someone like that, where
Yeah.
they're kind of superheroes, but it's also it's just really kind of weird. Or even like say
Hmm.
Fantastic Four, um, something happens and they have these really weird abilities, and they use that to be heroic. That's kind of what this vibe is. Um,
Okay.
and so I had that concept and character. I think it was a dream. A lot of stuff comes from dreams, and it was very specific characters. And then I realized that, I've got a ton of undeveloped characters, as all creators do. I'm sure you do too.
Mm.
I know you're working on some stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and some of them you get to bring to the light of day immediately because you're doing projects. And there's other ones that
Hmm.
just sit there waiting for their turn. Come on, man, I'm next. I'm
Yeah.
next. And I realized by creating this, the nature of this, again, I don't want to say too much because stuff
Yeah.
slowly. But as you'll see a few issues in, the nature of this kind of creates a universe I'm calling the Infinity
Hmm.
Verse. And I
Yeah.
realized, like, well, I can bring all kinds of characters I got sitting here that can
Yes, you
all come
can.
in now. Yeah, so I sat down and just kind of brainstormed like a timeline in a general direction, which you should do with an ongoing series anyway. You should have like a path. That path doesn't have to be straight, it can veer in different directions, but you got to keep yourself on that path that you're going forward to be consistent with your
Right.
underlying major plot. And then you can
Right.
introduce subplots. So that's what I did, when a character should be introduced, when they're going to be developed, what different subplots might jump in. So I've got this huge timeline mapped out.
Mhm.
And then I was so excited because it was one of the most prepared I've ever been for a series. I just sat down and like within 3 days wrote the first 4 or 5 issues, just nonstop cranking out script. And then of course went back revising. And then I always revise anyway after I've seen the artist because I don't like to mandate something with a script.
Correct.
My approach is to break down pages by panel because it helps me choreograph action and control
Mhm.
pacing.
Mm.
But I always say with my collaborators, you're the artist, you're the visual expert here. So you interpret a page how you best see fit. I'll come back if I need to, and we'll revisit the script. So there's always that till the end. So that's how the whole thing came through. And you had asked me earlier about the creative team. I don't want to slight them because I am so excited about this current art.
Yeah.
The only consistent factor is my letterer, Robin Jones. This guy's tremendous. He's always punctual. If I screw up my timing and my schedule, he always bails me out. The guy's awesome. But I lost the original artist, Joel Kodahar, who was awesome. He couldn't continue. So I had to find a new artist, and I was so stressed out about that because I loved his style. It seemed so fitting, you know. And then I finally, after searching and contacting, I found the current artist, Lorenzo Tameta, and then a colorist who I didn't think I was going to be able to afford, but he's working with me. Dijo Lima, I think is how you pronounce his name. And those two, if you've seen the pages, I mean, I boast it like I think this looks as good as anything on stands, and that's not anything I'm doing. That's them. They're just fantastic. So I'm really excited.
Kind of like this right here.
That's lovely. That's amazing.
Yeah. Such a beautiful cover, and something of that one also.
Now this second one here, that one is that's Joel. So that was the first artist. So you can see there's kind of a similar style. Enough of it, a little more. They're both very dynamic, a lot of visual flair to their style.
Okay. Yep, I love it. Awesome art. I love the artwork. So everyone knows I'm a big sucker for artwork, so I grab a book because of the artwork looks good.
Yeah, I think we all do, you know. And then hopefully there's a good story with it.
There's a good story behind it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but with that being said, we're gonna go right into now. The Kickstarter has already launched. It's been launched. It has just like what, a couple of more days?
Yeah.
Am I not mistaken? Like about 3 days?
It ends Thursday afternoon, the 27th. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go into that Kickstarter, which I'm actually gonna hear. We're gonna pull that up here and show that. And look here, right here, it says 42 hours to go. And looks like you've already met your goal, which that is awesome. I'm a part of that, so I'm excited about that.
Thank you very much, my friend.
I'm excited about that part. So we're just gonna we're gonna go over some of the goals and some of the rewards that they can see when they do back the project.
Yeah, we've actually we had a first stretch goal, which was to add some what I call some indie gems, some comics, and a wonderful publication by our friends at Indie Comics Dispatch, Representation in Comics. I thought that was really cool and very important to include in this bundle. And we nailed that stretch goal, so everyone is going to get those digital publications. And then we hit a second stretch goal, which was to introduce a backup story and one of those obscure characters I was talking to you about. She's finally going to get the debut. It'll be a short story, just kind of a taste of the character, but she actually plays a pretty pivotal role, as you'll find out eventually in the series.
Yeah.
And then, the third stretch goal is we're going to add. So there's one cover. There's a third cover I call the Alien Variant, and there's only one way to get that, and that's through the somewhat pricey triple threat collector set. It's called. And I had a couple of people message me and say, "Hey, I really don't want to buy that big bundle. Can I just do the collector's special edition cover as an add-on?" And I totally appreciate that, but part of why I made this part of this bundle is that it's going to be more of a rarity this way. There's going to be few printed. It'll never be reprinted again. So I didn't allow that. You have to buy that big bundle or you don't get it. But because a lot of people thought the artwork was cool because it features one of the alien adversaries, we're doing this print of that. So there'll be a digital print for the digital backers and a printed edition for the printed backers. So we hit all three of those stretch goals.
Oh, awesome.
I was going to announce another one, but with a few days left, it seemed pretty silly. Sometimes stretch goals are misinterpreted for greed. But really what I'm trying to do, and I think what most creators are trying to do, is give some of that value back, and people like, here's what we were hoping to hit. You guys have all worked hard to help us exceed that goal. Let's give something back.
That's true. That is true. With that being said, but you know what? With that other stretch goal, you never know. You may just hit that one, and then I've seen things happen like that. That in a couple of days they hit that, and then the last minute they end up getting that last stretch goal. And so, I mean, we'll hold that announcement just in case. So
okay, I like that.
You never know what may happen. So these are some of the backer pledges that they have there. I completely forgot which one that I purchased, but I know that I do have, I believe, one, two, and three. I think I have all of those. I don't remember which one it is, but
Yeah, I believe you did too. So there's bundles where people, if they
mhm,
prefer digital editions or they don't want to
yeah,
pay shipping, a lot of the international backers prefer that. You can do an a digital bundle. Then there's print bundles. You can get just the new edition, the newest
mhm,
issue, or you can get all three. Then there's some where you can get two of the main cover and the variant cover, or of course you can get all three with that limited edition Kickstarter exclusive cover.
mhm.
There's a level where you can add a T-shirt, and it grows. I try not to do. I mean, some of them have excessive, like 30 different.
Yeah,
That to me is like I go in the store, I want a bottle of ketchup, and there's 30 varieties. Like I just
yeah,
want a bottle of ketchup. So I don't
that's
want to
it.
overwhelm people, but there are a variety of options that our readers and or collectors
Mhm.
are seeking. So
Yeah, which I can completely understand that. I have seen some Kickstarters where it's like, okay, this is it's a lot going on here.
yeah,
But some people do actually like that variety. They like
right,
that. And
right,
then you have some people that are like, okay, this is too much. They should have like, you know, this is too huge. I don't really want all this. But like I always tell people, I don't think it's too much. I always get the physicals and the digitals just because I'm on the go and I like to read on the
sure,
go.
yeah, me too.
So I always get the physical and digital. So that is, yeah, that those bundles are actually very helpful. Plus, I don't like to open my physicals. I like to keep them in mint condition, just in case if I want to set them off and just have them slabbed and stuff like that. And I just keep the digitals so that I can just read those. But yeah, those are some of the goals and the rewards that you can get. There are 42 more hours left. Make sure that you all do go in and back this project. I cannot wait to get mine. So that is actually going to be awesome. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the t-shirt
That is,
that they
yes.
can order, which, okay, can you explain that gentleman that is on the t-shirt that's also right here?
That is one of the first aliens that they encounter, their first extra. So the the main characters, there's three
Mhm,
characters that are the most important, and they're in a multi-government funded agency called the Infinite Border Security Agency. So part of their jurisdiction has no boundaries, which is why
mhm.
it's infinite.
Yeah.
And mainly what they're doing is exploring and researching extraterrestrial encounters,
Mhm,
and if necessary, then is there a security element that they need to be concerned about as well. So they encounter two alien life forms, and that's one of them, the Ashen World.
mhm.
And obviously, the two races that they encounter, one's more peaceful and one is much more violent. So I think you can tell by the looks of this dude that he's
Yeah.
more violent. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's not a pleasant person.
No.
So, but I do love the whole. I'm glad that you didn't stick with the whole big-headed alien, black-eyed look. You gave him a completely different look. It looks
We
like
do.
he's.
Yeah, we do have a very specific one. This particular one that you're looking at right now. So what inspired me for this one when I described it to the artist when he designed it was a beluga whale. So if you research that and take a
Mm,
look at that, that's exactly what he did. And then we added some extra eyes and stuff.
yep, I've seen a beluga whale before. They are
Yep.
not pretty. Big animals. So I'm just like, whoa, big animals. But yeah, that is part. Oh wow, that's gonna be amazing. Cannot wait to get my book. Now, with the Kickstarter and everything that is going on, and it looks like you've already did. You said this is number three. Am I correct? Infinity
Right.
Eight is number three. So you did one, two, and three. Now, after the Kickstarter is completely done and everything is over with, what's next for John? Is he gonna take a break or is he gonna hop right into number four?
Um, we will hop right into number four amongst many other things. This is going to be a wild ending to 2021 for me. So
Mhm,
I was one of the ones who there was two different approaches during when COVID was first hitting and everything. And some people dove right in and kept on doing what they were doing. I
mhm,
was one of the ones who was nervous. I mean, there was a lot going on. I felt was it insensitive for me to be like pitching, hey, I got something on Kickstarter when people are, scared and dealing
Yeah.
with a lot of different things, losing their
Yeah.
jobs. And, but come to find out, people continued buying. People were having record Kickstarters and stuff. So I was probably being way too cautious. But in the meantime, production continued on my titles. So now I actually have a backlog. So part of that means, a financial investment that's a burden at this point. And also just like finished product is ready to go. So it's going to be pretty nonstop. So Infinity
Okay.
Agents 4 won't be immediate because there's a few other titles I need to slip in, but it'll jump right in. I'm really excited about this art team, and these guys are both committed to staying on. So I'd like to keep them because that's the danger with an indie creator. If you do one issue a year, and if your partner, whether it's the writer or the artist, is like the co-collaborator, then you're pretty locked in together. But with me, it's more of a work for hire situation. So
Yeah.
who knows what else they're going to be offered in the meantime, and then they can't finish the book, and that'd be a shame.
Yeah. That is true. So I can understand go right into it with that. Plus, a lot of people always say, they like to go right into the next one because while they have your attention on the one before, some people, if it's something that they really like, they want the very next one right afterwards. So they want to go ahead
Yeah,
and get it and finish reading. But I can understand about taking caution about the whole pandemic thing.
yeah,
That was a lot in the beginning of it. I'm grateful to God that I still had my same job. I didn't have to, they just transferred us from the building to home. So we were actually happy about that we still
yeah,
have our same job. Some people did go through a financial struggle, but the comic books, it looked like it just got even bigger and it's
yeah,
expanded. And because back then when it started is actually when I started back. Collecting my comic books again, which I tell this pretty much on every show. Um, I started collecting my comics again, and then that's when I heard about independent comics. I'm like, I didn't know anything about indie comics. I didn't know that they even existed. All I knew about was DC and Marvel. So, but I'm glad I found out. I found some very, very, very good artists, some good creators in here, and now I'm about to become one of them. So that's
yes,
exciting.
sir. I can't wait for that.
I cannot wait either. I'm hoping that you all enjoy. I really am hoping that you all really, really, really like that. So all of that with all of that being done, now that we know that you're going into number four, you said there's some other titles that you want to put in before number four. So just break down to one question. I asked this question on Instagram because I wanted to see people's response.
Sure.
What is there any book or any grail that you actually, like sacrifice a bill for or do anything crazy like that?
I don't know. You got me stumped.
So you don't have any grail that you was like, I can pay less on this bill. I really want this.
You know, we do what we have to when we have to, right?
Yeah, that is true. I have I have a couple of grails, but
All right, let's hear.
I have one which everyone know this is my favorite. I believe but I can't remember the number. Swamp Thing 37, first appearance of John Constantine. That
Mm-hmm.
was one of my number ones because John Constantine was the very first comic that I collected when I first got into comics, and I love John Constantine. But I was grateful enough to making enough money that I could just go ahead and buy it. But the guy that I did it with, he was actually able to set up some payment arrangements for me. So I was like, okay. So I didn't have to do anything, but I know that there are some people out there that actually do some stuff just to get that grail. And
Yeah. Well,
I want to hear some stories. I'm just like, really for a grail? No
yeah,
judgment. I just
yeah.
like, wow.
I think mine would be borderline controversial, so I'm going to hold mine in. But
Okay.
I also love Constantine and a huge Swamp Thing fan. That was
Yeah.
like one of the most especially with Alan Moore in it, one of
Mhm.
the most influential series ever on me.
Yeah.
So I'm currently cleaning my house out, preparing for possible sale.
Mhm.
And so I had a crew come in that cleaned out the basement and the garage and part of the house. So they came across my comic collection. And they were like, "Good God, sir, you've got an unbelievable." So they're asking me some of the ones I had and some of the
Mhm.
value, and they were kind of shocked because the one guy seemed to know them. And after a while, I thought, like, I probably should be careful what I'm saying about what I have
Yeah.
in this house when they're in.
Yeah, I
But I think
would.
I can try. I think I can trust them.
I would. I
I,
look.
I'll just say there's some grails here already.
I have a couple of them, but
Yeah.
I have a couple of them. I have a list that I'm trying to complete slowly, but some of these they're up in the thousands, and I'm not at that point yet where I'm willing to pay that much for a comic book. So
Yeah,
I
like you said, it's got to be either some huge sacrifice or just the
yeah,
right situation where it's like, you know what, I got to pull the trigger right now.
yeah, like the Secret Wars #8.
Hmm.
I actually got one of those. Someone actually was selling it on Instagram for $25, and I grabbed it. $25. Okay, here's my story. I wasn't supposed to use my credit card, but I took my I said, is this still for sale? He was like, yeah, can you go in? I went in, I claimed it, I sent him my PayPal to my credit card. I'm like, yeah. And he sent it to me, and I was like, I was like, okay, I got this one because I love Venom also. And I'm trying
Yeah,
to get all of the key issues of Venom and Swamp Thing. Not Swamp Thing, Spawn. And so that was one of my key issues that I grabbed. I couldn't believe it. I'm like $25. I'm like, no one saw this. It was just for me. I didn't say nothing. I was like, okay. Went and paid it off, and we good. So
right. That's all you
there's
got to
my
do.
story. There's my story. But yeah, so it's good to know that you have some grails, but you don't have to tell everything. I don't know that people tell everything. So, but with that being said, and everything in that matter, so if people want to reach you, of course, we already know the Kickstarter. If
Hmm.
people want to reach you, or if they want to like contact you, what can you give out your like social medias? If you have Instagram,
Sure.
Twitter, Facebook.
I usually go by Fable House. Like, I have what I call a Fable House studio where I do all the writing. So
Mhm.
it's usually Fable House or my name, John Schlim Jr. You can find on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, as well as Ovation Comics. And then there's also ovationcomics.com, which is also an online storefront. So any titles you might
Okay.
have missed. There are a couple that have gone out of print, so aren't currently available. And
Mhm.
there are a couple that are awaiting some pretty significant announcements. So if they're not available, there's a reason that you'll find out soon. But everything else should be available there or available soon.
Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So that is the best way to reach Mr.
Hmm.
Schlemm himself. So I really, 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 really thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me tonight. I'm the first person to interview you back into there's these more interviews are coming, I promise. And oh, by the way, I believe it was Aaron. He did post it. Wait, how did you get John to actually show up to something?
Yeah.
That has to be
Aaron's
Aaron.
he's kind of a stalker on social media. Did you notice?
I had to tell Aaron one time, I was like, look, let the man breathe. He'll come. Let it breathe. He
No,
said,
I have
okay.
just I have lately going
Yeah,
through a lot of significant change and transition that
yeah.
I'm still trying to shake free from. And
Mhm.
like I said, this whole backlog with projects, you see, here's my foolish risks. It's not so much buying some of these grails anymore. It's
Yeah,
investing in these products I'm trying to put out. And I've probably done some things I shouldn't
yeah.
have to get them ready. So now I am just 100% full bore on
Mhm.
this these campaigns, and I'm very grateful for all the backers
Oh, yes.
who've already stepped up. Infinity Agents. This is the highest backer count I've ever had in this series,
Oh, that's
and it's
awesome.
the highest funding goal we've ever hit in this series. So, I mean, there's people who do way better than me, and God
Mhm.
bless them. I'm very happy for them. They're very
Yeah,
talented, obviously more talented than me, and they've got some
yeah.
great things going. But this is huge for me because it keeps us, profitable,
Mhm.
and it shows that there's an interest in the series and we can keep it going, and that makes
Yeah.
me really happy. I'm
And that's
also
awesome.
I'm especially grateful for you for having me on here.
Not a problem. I thank you for
Love the
coming.
show.
Thank you.
And I'm grateful for Indie Comics Dispatch and everything that
Yeah.
growing platform is doing for the
Yes.
indie comic scene
It
is
is.
tremendous.
It is.
Thank
It
you,
is. It
Brett.
is. Yes, thanks, Brett. It is getting bigger and bigger each month. It seems like not by the year, it's by the month now. So yeah, with that all being said, once again, John, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on Kickstarter Connections and taking this time out with me. Um, like I said, everyone, please do go and back if you haven't already backed Infinity Agents 3, and let's get him to that last goal so we can get whatever it is that he has there to unlock that he's not going to tell, and I don't blame him. I wouldn't tell you that. So until you get us there, then I'll announce what it's going to be. But we thank you all for joining us tonight. And like, if there's nothing else to the end, like I always say, stay positive, test negative.